Hi, I'm Bart Hansen. I'm the owner and lead instructor for CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the instructions in the video description. So you got a hand for, what is it, 10 and a
Yeah,
quarter euros or
I
something?
do. Yeah, 10.25 euros at the Burrier Casino in Cannes.
Okay.
82.35 effective, and I'm the effective stack.
82.35, so
Um,
pretty deep, right?
Pretty deep, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so the button opens the betting for 75 euros, and I'm in the big blind with King of Clubs, Nine of Clubs,
Is this a
and
full
I just
table?
selected. It's seven-handed at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just elect to just call.
So button is
Um,
75. You call with King Nine of Clubs in the big blind. Okay.
yeah, correct.
Yep.
Pot's 160. Go to the flop. Flop is King of Hearts, King of Diamonds, Three of Spades. And I check, and the button now bets another 75. And I just don't think there's anything else to do apart from call here, so I just call.
Okay. Now,
Would you
now
do
I
anything different, or?
well, I mean, there's no draw out there, right? The thing that I will say
Yeah.
is that you're certainly allowed to raise some kings here.
Okay.
King nine is probably one of. I mean, you're calling king 10 plus. You're probably calling any suited king. King nine is probably pretty close, but the idea here is that if you want to start raising, it's probably going to be with some of your better kings. So I don't mind
Right.
calling, but at the same time, you're calling to sort of keep your range wide on the flop here too. So you want to do stuff sort
Correct.
of in conjunction with that thought. So you call.
Right. I call. Yeah. So the
Yep.
pot's now 310,
Okay.
and the turn is the Nine of Diamonds. So we both up. And it also brings in the backdoor diamond draw.
Right. King 3 9. Okay.
So yep. So
Hmm.
I check again, and he now bets 250, and I decide to call again, thinking that if he does have any diamond draws, I don't want to blow him off his hand. So I just call.
Well, here it's interesting though, because now you have the nuts, right? And
Correct.
you're out of position. So we're always incentivized to play fast play when we're out of position, right? Because what are we going to do at the end on the river? The thing is that
But what hands could he call, Bart? Though, if I raise here, like what hands could he possibly have that he's calling apart from a king?
well,
Other than a king, there's literally nothing else that he's ever going to call down with.
yeah, but the thing is that when he goes bet here, listen. What I'm saying is that at this stack depth, there certainly is going to be some raising with this hand, and the reason why is probably because you want to get as much money in the pot possible against another king, right?
Correct.
Or possibly
Yeah.
some sort of cooler like nines, threes, things like that. With that being said, those hands are always probably supposed to bet at the end unless you got some sort of really, really unlucky run out. Yes, I understand that he could be barreling Broadway straight draws plus backdoor diamonds draws now and stuff like that too. So
Right.
if you wanted to split off, sometimes raise, sometimes call, that's fine, but your call looks strong, I feel like, when it goes bet, call, where there are going to be a
Right.
fair amount of give ups in your opponent's range, but you probably need to, sort of play it as a check
Flick
raise
it
at
back
the
here.
end. Well, you need to
Right.
play a check
Okay.
raise on the river because you have to let them bet for value and continue to bluff. So if you're thinking you're trying to let them bluff, you cover the board, then fine, you're going to call, but then it's a check at the end. But there still has to be some raising here with the nuts from out of position to build the pot here up at the stack size.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But you call.
So I call. Yeah. The
Yeah.
pot's 8-10 now, and
Yeah.
the river is the 10 of clubs. Um, and instead of checking here, because the diamond draw didn't come in, and I felt like there was some straight draws, like some gut shots that got there, I just decided to lead out here. I let out for 600.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest with you,
No.
because here's the thing. If I am your opponent
Okay.
and I somehow have run into Queen Jack, okay? Let's take a look here at
Right.
Queen Jack, right? And I got to be
Hmm.
honest with you, even if I ran into like pocket. This is Queen Jack is a more realistic type of thing. Pocket tens is even a more extreme thing. If I have Queen
Okay.
Jack and I barreled flop and barreled turn, and you led river, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna call. And if I had pocket nines here or possibly tens, I it gets closer and closer. It's like a linear depending on whether or not I'm going to raise there. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because your check call lead river is so strong, you're not going to get
So
raised
strong.
by Queen Jack. So that's the
Right.
problem. So if you play the check call on turn instead of check raising turn,
I gotta check the river
you got
now.
to check the river, let him bluff, and let him bet off his stuff that he has made that he would otherwise just call.
Right.
So yeah, because I think you're gonna when he leads here, it's excuse me, when you lead, he's gonna be flatting with a lot of I feel like a lot of those types of hands. So you lead for 600.
I lead for 600,
Mhm.
and he now raises to 1700. And so I'm left here with a decision as to just call or bet, which I just don't think there's just a call here. So I have the second nut. So I three bet him basically. I made it 4,700.
Well, here's the thing here. Here's the thing here. It's probably much much closer, Sean, than it looks on
Mm-hmm.
paper because
Right.
these spots are become so polarized. Meaning that like when you three bet the river, now remember what your entire line is, right? Check call flop, check
Yeah.
call turn, and
Check all the time.
you donked the river. And what I was saying
Right.
about that is that if I'm your opponent, your line of donking the river can be so strong in itself that I'm just calling with Queen Jack. So when I raise you, if I'm just calling with Queen Jack here and I raise you, I think this spot becomes unbelievably polarized to the point where you've got King Nine. Yes, you have the second nuts, but if I raised you with say pocket tens and you came back over the top for a three bet jam, I don't know if I would call. I mean, and I had
Right.
hesitated to saying even that I was even going to raise pocket tens at the end. You know what I'm saying? Now you've got a king nine, so there's
Yeah.
less nines. So if I raise with tens or if I raise with nines and you came back over the top for a bet three bet jam, I don't know if I'm calling. So when you take that into account, you could possibly just call here
Right.
with king nine, depending on the player strength. That's because of how polar this spot becomes because of those things.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Now, if
No.
he's
Yeah.
bad,
You're right.
if he's bad,
No,
if
he
he's
was a good player.
well, if he's a good player, then I think you might just have to call. I mean, if he's capable of race folding tens or threes or nines, I think you might just have to call. Because the question is
Right.
what are you going to get called by if you three bet all in?
Right.
Yeah,
Correct. Yeah. No, and that's absolutely right. And
yeah.
he jammed, and then I was in this horrible position because there was only like
So wait a minute. You
3,100.
bet 600. Villain raised to 1700, and what did you do?
I made it 4,700, and he now jams.
Well, at this point, I mean the pot's so large.
Yeah, there's like 3,100 for me to call. I'm getting like 3.5 to 1. I think it's 3 to 1.
Well, it's going to be more than that, isn't it? So, well,
Is it more than that?
you bet 600 into 8, that's 14. He raises to 17's 31. You make it 47's 8 and then you call 3. I think it's more like 5 to 1, right? If you both well, you're
Five
going
to
to
one.
it's going to be
Okay.
like yeah, I mean the pot size is going to be he so you made it 4700. So you've got like 3,000 left in your so it's 13,000. Man, maybe
No, you're
13,000,
correct.
three
It's
thousand
five to
one.
one.
Okay. 4 or
Five,
5 to 1. I mean,
almost 5 to 1.
I think at
Yeah.
that once you put in the three bet to 4,700 and you've got the second nuts. I mean, it's not like some sort of grave mistake. Oh, I'm going to three bet fold the river for value. I think the
Yeah.
better inflection point here is whether or not you're going to three bet the hand at all, and then also too like what's the three bet sizing here? Is it just a jam or is it to 4,700 to like make him hero call something
No,
like that?
I actually thought that he might possibly be like, he might play something like a king queen hand or an ace king hand here. Even though he's a good player, he's capable of very thin value betting. So I thought he might have played one of his stronger kings as a raise here. And I sort of, three bet him thinking that he still might call with ace king or king queen if he has those hands.
Right, but I think where your sort of logic was flawed, though, Sean, is that if I'm saying that I'm your opponent and I'm just calling with queen jack, right, on the river, I'm
Right.
certainly not raising just a king.
Correct.
I think
No, you're right.
I think it's the line of call lead. And that's why I
Right.
thought this hand was actually interesting when you emailed this in. The call lead is so strong that you're just not going to. And that's why I think the river's a check if you did just check call turn, although I might be check raising some as well. So you 3-bet to 4,700. He jammed, and I'm assuming you called, right?
Well, actually, no. I was thinking about folding at that point because I was 100% sure that he has it, and then he flashed me a black king.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he flashed me the king, I just thought, okay, well now I'm only losing to king 10. That's the only hand I'm losing to. So, which obviously still was the only hand I'm losing to. But the combos of that, I think he showed me like the king of spades. So there was only like one combo of king 10 of spades that was available. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna call.
Yeah, but if he flashed you a 10 though, would it have been any different? Because
If he flashed me a 10, I think I would have folded quite more comfortably.
why is
Because
that?
I know that
Because
he's never do.
why is that?
Because I just
Because
know
there's three
he's never
tens.
jamming there with pocket tens.
Well, yeah, but there's three tens left in the deck and there's three kings left in the deck. But is he going to jam over the top with just? You think he's jamming over the top with trip kings as a bluff? You mean at the end?
No, I don't think he's ever jamming with kings as a bluff. No.
So with trip kings with a bluff. So I'm just wondering about what is the king? Does it matter if he flashes you a king or a 10 if we establish that he's not going to be bluffing with just a king and there's just as many
Okay, so
combos,
in
you know what
my
I'm
mind, at the time, I was thinking, right, well, when he flashes me, if he flashed me a 10,
saying?
I think definitely he has king 10, 100%, no doubt,
Mm-hmm.
because he's never making that bet. He's never jamming with pocket tens there.
Okay.
But when he flashed me a king, I thought, okay, so there is still a possibility I could be chopping. Maybe he also has king 9.
Oh, chopping.
Um,
Okay, so maybe he's. Oh, you were thinking about chopping. My bad. That's where I didn't.
yeah, I
Oh,
thought,
okay.
right,
Yeah,
there's a
chopping.
possibility that I could be chopping
Uh huh.
here. So, I'm getting, like you said, 4.5, 5 to 1. So
Yeah.
it might be worth just calling off another 3,000 to see whether possibly I'm chopping and get lucky in this hand.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case. He had king 10.
Like I said, I have no problem with the call off at the end, but the question is whether or not against a good player you should 3-bet at the end, and I think it might actually be too thin, even though it seems crazy. Sean, as always, thank you very much for the call. I appreciate it. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.